Welcome to the Cult of Domesticity podcast, a podcast about history, true crime, and whatever life brings us. I'm Courtney, and every week I am joined by another fascinating person. Let's see what we're going to talk about this week.
Quick and dirty version of this week's episode because my friend Virginia and I are driving across the country. We're on day 5. We're a little tired. It's like the third time we were trying to do this because Iowa, your road at a certain point was just so loud we couldn't talk and get recorded at the same time. So
it was irritating.
Yes, it was a very high-pitched noise, and it made us very upset. There's not going to be a lot of editing, so any stuff is just going to be in there, and I'm sorry for not the normal quality I stand. So, Virginia, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Virginia. Don't know how I became friends with Courtney. She kind of just took over my life, and still here. Agreed to go cross country with her. Stuck in a car for 5 to 6 days. So
that's really how I make most of my friends. Is they don't know how it happens, and I just force it.
It's just there. Can't accept it.
So day 1 was Sunday, and I picked you up from Portland, and we ate all the food at the food trucks. Then we drove to California, and didn't really see a lot of California because we just barely made it before we got to our hotel. Day 2, we saw the redwoods. And Virginia, do you want to tell them what we saw when we were eating lunch?
We saw whales.
We saw
a baby whale, at least.
We saw a humpback whale breach and give us a little show while we had lunch. Then
I said I wanted to be a mountain goat. Still want to be a mountain goat.
Then we drove to Reno, where we both had a lovely experience staying in our first casino. And Virginia got to gamble for the first time.
I won 20 cents. Big money.
Out of $1. My dollar.
Making bank.
Next day we drove from Reno to
somewhere in Wyoming.
Yeah. We stopped at Salt Lake City.
I did not get kidnapped by the Mormons. Why?
You were kind of looking forward to it a little bit.
I was planning my escape and writing my book.
The next day, which was yes.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. We did an it wasn't an impromptu detour, but we did a detour to the Dinosaur National Monument. I suggest you go. It's pretty awesome.
We are now radioactive and becomes...
Yes, we touched the dinosaur fossils, which are slightly radioactive, which I in turn think means I'm going to become an X-Men. And then we drove
back through...
Wyoming.
No, we went through Colorado. Their speed limits suck.
Yes, to Wyoming. We stayed in Nebraska last night, and today we drove all day. And we are finally
in Iowa.
And we're at the edge of Iowa. We're almost to Chicago, where I will drop Virginia off to go to a rugby tournament with our friends.
I will be getting drunk. I don't know.
And probably see a lot of people dressed in costumes.
I just like getting drunk.
And watching rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drunk, men in tight shorts, short shorts, hitting each other for a common goal.
I'm going to send this to your boyfriend.
That's okay. I already have a cowboy ghost boyfriend.
Yes. She brought up the woman who, if you probably remember previously, said she was in a relationship with a ghost pirate, is getting married to a spirit, an ancient spirit from Australia that followed her back, and it brought up a lot of questions that we're not going to ask again because that took way too long. And Virginia determined, since we were in Wyoming, that she was going to get a cowboy ghost boyfriend.
I mean, he died trying to get that cattle across to the west, set up his ranch, died in those cold mountains. He just needs someone to be his partner in life and in that.
Okay, so we're gonna start, and it's kind of our Halloween episode, but it's late, and since Virginia's Mexican, and she suggested this, so
I did not.
You did.
I did not. I really don't remember things. It's been a blur of a weekend. Or week. See, I don't even know what it is anymore.
We don't know what day it is, so forgive. We drove it over 8 hours. But we're going to do the Chupacabra.
She can't even say it.
I haven't even drank that much of my 7 and 7.
It's Chupacabra. Chupacabra.
Chupacabra. Okay, so the origins of the Chupacabra was in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Now that's just making me think of the song where it's like, the one where everyone's like normal. It's like Puerto Rico, and then it's just like everyone in weird costumes dancing.
I find that offensive to the Latino culture right now.
I do find it, but I'm very tired, and I did most of the driving today, so you should be like, shh. Okay, so there was a series of attacks on the island from 1992. Hey, my birth year. To 1995. Really, There was a big attack in March of 1995 where the Chupacabra incident drained 8 sheep. Their bodies were completely intact, but their blood had been drained behind, leaving a puncture wound in the chest.
Maybe it's just a vampire going on like a diet or like vegan, so he doesn't attack humans, but only animals.
So he's Stefan Salvatore from Vampire Diaries?
Yes.
Fortunately, I'm going to guess at least one of them is a white dude. Paranormal researcher Mark Davenport sounds like a white dude. And video producer Joe Palpadero were in Puerto Rico at the time filming the attacks for a documentary, because that's what we needed.
There's always a documentary about something.
Yeah. And they basically were like, yeah, this happens continuously on the day. In Orcovis, we had the 8 sheep. In Guanica, Oscalvo Quadillo Rosado claimed to be grabbed from behind by a gorilla, but there are no gorillas on the island, so they just blamed it on the Chupacabra. Again.
Are you sure it just wasn't a bigger man?
That is very... After Rosado fought off the creature, he needed treatment for scratches and cuts around his torso, and on top of it, chickens and cows died nearby with the single wounds to the neck, blood gone. In Canovas, the livestock death actually reached into the hundreds, and the mayor, Jose Quimo Soto, I don't know why he would go by Quimo as a name.
It's like an authoritative.
Okay. Raised a posse of volunteers and personally hunted every week for the
posse, like the insane clown posse. Okay.
The insane Latino posse to hunt the Chupacabra for every week for a year, and they were armed with rifles and a cage goat.
Oh, cage goat?
Yeah,
they train this goat.
They're fight? Like, we have this nice goat. Please come and attack it.
I just feel like the Rocky theme song where they're prepping this goat. It's like, come on, let's go. Prepare to die.
But he did not catch it. However, he was reelected. So good for him for trying.
I mean, is anyone else standing up like, we're getting this Chupacabra? I just see a superhero kind of thing.
El Chupacabra. La Chupacabra.
It could be a female.
You never know.
We're all pro-feminism right here.
Woo! Tired women right here. Driving across the country trying not to get murdered. It's fine. In Torcilla, Baja, a woman found a chicken dead with perforations in the neck, her cat dead with its genitals gone, and her guinea pigs with their throat slit. I think she just pissed someone off.
I would say.
Because, I mean, Chupacabra is just, like, to the neck.
Yeah, like, what is it? Oh, Chupacabra. I don't like this cat, so I'm just going to cut its genitals out and not take its blood like I do with... Someone just didn't like her.
Yeah, I think that's really what it was.
She's just a bitch.
And all over Puerto Rico, radio and television constantly reported the Chupacabra activity because, you know, livestock are very key to a small island country.
Yes, that is true. Very isolated.
So many people would just wake up one morning to find their livestock with animals sucked dry of blood. And in August of 1995, as many as 150 farm animals and pets were killed by the predator on the Puerto Rican town of Canovas. And much like the sheep incident in March, the animals were drained of blood through small holes. And local veterinarians studied the incidents and said it was all the deaths were because of the puncture wounds on the right side of the neck. I don't know who determined this, but the wounds were the diameter of a drinking straw and 3 to 4 inches in length.
What if it was like Satanists or witches just trying to use their blood for blood rituals?
What if it was the serial killer, the Vampire of Venice? No, Vampires in Venice is a Doctor Who episode. I'm thinking of the one who did the pentagram in his hand who isn't Charles Manson from California. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I can't remember it right now. And in March 1996, the Spanish talk show Cristina aired the story about the Chupacabra. And immediately after the show, there was an increased amount of sightings across Latin America and the United States. And thus, a cryptid was born.
I mean, can this Chupacabra fly then? Because, like, Puerto Rico, pretty isolated. Not too close to anything. How is it traveling from Puerto Rico all the way to Mexico and further down?
I would go with U.S. government. We've already talked about Puerto Rico on this podcast. And I would say U.S. government.
Of course, it's always
probably like what is this? Taking it, bringing it back to the U.S. It escapes because, cryptid, and flees to South America, as a lot of people do.
Or it was like a U.S. government. They did go in there, got the chupacabra, and try and test it out on U.S. land, and it escaped because there was some like rogue spy.
Or
okay, fine. Okay.
We could go with really traditional U.S. policy, and they just tested it out in Latin America without the Latin Americans' permission. Let's just get honest. So,
because we can't take it back.
Yeah. Also, Virginia and I were both international studies majors that studied Latin America a little extensively.
Yeah.
Un poquito. So, what does chupacabra?
Chupacabra.
I can't talk anymore, man.
Do you want me to say?
Chupacabra.
Chupa in Espanol means to suck, and cabra means goat. So it means to suck a goat.
That sounds like an insult. Like you go tell someone to suck a goat.
I mean, how many derogatives are there out there?
I know.
We just say go suck a dick.
So the original word is attributed to Puerto Rican comedian Silverio Perez.
Silverio Perez.
Thank you. I'm just tired.
Her Spanish is not on point today.
No, it's not. It's been a while since I've spoken Spanish fluently. Who coined the label in 1995 when commenting on the attacks as a San Juan radio DJ. Also, whenever I see the word DJ actually spelled out, it freaks me out.
DJ.
No, it's Deejay. Like it looks like a bird. I think I just think of it's like a blue jay. So where did the chupacabra come from? People, do you want to guess?
No, tell me.
Just tell me. So there's several theories. Some people think this is a left behind pet of visitors from outer space.
Oh God, of course.
It's an alien pet.
Aliens. Next we're gonna get kidnapped.
I'm not
and wear
saying-
Nike shoes and tracksuits.
I've been forcing her a lot of.
I'm very paranoid about this week about being murdered in every situation, especially hotels right now. And I still say kill me. I'll just be another statistic.
Stop telling people I'm gonna murder you.
I need witnesses. / I could just run away from Courtney and she'll never be able to catch me.
You're very tiny, and you have hit me in the face before, so it's fine. Because people think chupacabras resemble greys, and if you want more in-depth space aliens known as greys, go listen to the last podcast on the left episode about it, because I'm not going into that. I don't need to read those really bad websites, because
I'm not afraid to get those bad websites. Someone's probably tracking me out there. I already looked that up. I looked up that fire arson from the 1990s in California, that serial guy. So I'm probably...
We were probably already...
Yeah, I've been into some sketchy places. They're probably tracking me. I'm also Mexican. Come on. That's just number one. I'm a rapist, drug dealer, murderer.
You've not done any to me, so we're fine.
You've been in my good graces so far.
So people have compared the chupacabra to the greys because they have large oval heads with enormous eyes. Some people also... They believe that it is an alien animal crossbred by scientists at NASA because that's where all their money's going, you know?
And that's why Obama, he didn't want the animals.
He didn't end NASA. Everyone to stop going to the moon. Okay.
No, but now we're having military.
We're not bringing this up because I know the both of us, and it's going to go down a dark rabbit hole. We're going to go down a dark Cold War rabbit hole that no one needs to hear.
Dude, I'll be in the air.
You're going to fall off the bed.
Maybe I won't. Hey, I'm going to be in the plane.
Okay.
I've signed up for this life.
Keep going. So, and then on top of the scientists breeding these alien animal crossbreeds, they have escaped. Naturally.
Okay.
Also, one veterinarian in South America believes that the chupacabra is a genetically modified vampire bat. Because who does this shit?
A mad scientist.
Who has the funding?
They're stealing. They're embezzling first.
The cartels.
That, and then they get their laboratories. You've given me too much references this week.
I know. And other medical and official personnel suspect that the incidents are caused by packs of wild dogs. But that doesn't make sense either because why would they just suck all the blood out of the neck?
They like meat. They don't like... Well, blood's okay, but they want the meat. Makes no sense. It's a.
What do you think?
I just imagine like a steampunk kind of vision where they're just like hooking them up with a medical, like a stainless steel straws to suck out their blood, and I don't know, doing some medical experiment.
Someone has to be like just stealing all the blood because the way the description is.
Yeah, if it's like a perfect like straw diameter, like I feel like it's gonna be scraped across because it's not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Bite every single time.
Obviously.
For an animal, especially if they're struggling or trying to run away. Like those goats are scared.
Goats kick and headbutt.
Exactly. But poor goat shouldn't be scared.
The description of the chupacabra is. There's a couple different descriptions, but the one is a reptile-like creature said to have leathery or scaly greenish skin with sharp spines or quills running down its back. So it sounds like a dinosaur. Did watch the Meg, so maybe there's just a secret thing that just releases the chupacabra every so often. I don't know. Approximately 3 to 4 length and stands and hops in a fashion similar to a kangaroo. Maybe it's just a fucked up kangaroo.
How would a kangaroo get in?
Rich people.
Give me some money, people. If you're out there, I'm desperate.
Find you a corner. Another description is of a strange breed of wild dog, mostly hairless, a pronounced spinal ridge, pronounced eye sockets, fangs, and claws. Sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, so it drains all the blood, sometimes organs, through 3 holes pointing downwards. I had to go into some really weird websites for this, and I'm sorry.
So what do you mean by the organs? 3 organs?
No, 3 holes. It sometimes takes the organs with it, so like it's doing blood and organs. And then the puncture wound is like a triangle, but of 3 holes, or 1 or 2 holes. It's very confusing. There's a lot of word holes in this, and I'm sorry.
I swear it.
On top of it, witnesses smell a strong, unpleasant sulfur-like odor. Others say there is no smell. Maybe everyone's having some strong hallucination.
They're drugged.
But after about 2000, the sightings of the weird alien bipedal spiky-backed chupacabra faded away, and that's when the hairless canine pops up. And it's found mostly in Texas and the American Southwest because Americans must take everything.
Yeah, especially
Texas is just stolen. It was used to steal the southern part of America, but we're not again.
Hello.
So Benjamin Radford also.
It's always a white dude.
Spent a 5-year investigation.
Of course, 5 years of your life. He does not have a wife, ladies. He's single.
And he documented in his 2011 book, Tracking the Chupacabra.
Yeah, he's definitely on the market.
And concluded that the description of the original eyewitness in Puerto Rico, Madeleine Tolino, was based on the creature Still in the science fiction horror film Species. The alien creature Still is nearly identical to Tolino's Chupacabra eyewitness account, and she had seen the movie before her report.
She was probably high and was seeing things, and that's what
sounds like fun. She reported it was a creature that looked like the chupacabra with spines on its back, and all the resemblance to the chupacabra was impressive, she reported. Bradford revealed that Tolino believed that the creatures and events she saw in Species were happening in reality in Puerto Rico at the time. Which really undermines the credibility of the chupacabra as a real animal, and it has never been confirmed. The animal has never been confirmed by necropsy. Basically, all the reports, they never did animal autopsies, so they couldn't really prove it. And a veterinarian who studied 300 of the reported victims of the chupacabra found that they had not been blood dry. So real?
No, were the bodies just mummified, or they just oh, it looks like it doesn't really have blood, it's been drained? That's my question. Because I feel like if you were drained of your blood, it almost looks mummified.
Have you seen a body that's been drained of most of its blood?
I don't know what I do in my free time. I don't know. I don't normally do these.
Your nap is really powering you today.
Oh yeah.
So Radford kind of divided the chupacabra reports into 2 categories. The reports from Puerto Rico and Latin America, where the animals were attacked and supposedly all their blood was extracted, and in the U.S., where mammals, mostly dogs and coyotes, with mange, so basically their skin's really dry.
Poor people love
that. Were called chupacabras because of their appearance, and I just love that. Get ready for this. People gave money to fund this. In late October 2010, University of Michigan. Yes, University of Michigan, that prestigious university.
the state to the north. You never heard that? Are you not around sports people enough?
Yes, I just normally notice that, all the Michigan jokes from Ohio State for that. Okay.
Going back.
Biologist Barry O'Connor concluded that all chupacabra reports in the U.S. were simply coyotes infested with the parasite Scaritopes scabies, whose symptoms would explain most of the features of the chupacabra. Little fur, thickened skin, smell terrible, and he believes
just imagine seeing
a hairless, janky, wily coyote that smells like death.
Yeah, exactly. Going a little crazy because he never caught him.
Yeah. So O'Connor theorizes that attacks on goats occurred because these animals are greatly weakened and they're going to have a hard time hunting. So easy prey.
Exactly.
And
extra work.
Yeah. And they can't attack livestock they attack livestock because it's easier than going after wild animals because they can run away and they're quick. Even though a couple people come forward and say it's not the work of dogs or coyote because they didn't eat the victim.
Satanist.
Well, both dogs and coyotes can kill and not consume prey, either because they are inexperienced or due to injury or difficulty in killing the prey. The prey can still survive the attack and die afterwards from internal bleeding or circulatory shock. So the dog basically will bite the neck because that's how dogs will attack, and they just might be too weak to finish the attack. On top of it, stray Mexican hairless dogs have also been mistaken for chupacabra. So
or they're just killing for sport, not for food.
That's true. So remember, creepy chupacabras. Are they myth? Are they legend? Are they aliens?
I'm just going to go with a myth. And then the fact that my family likes to blame the chupacabra for everything. Oh, where'd the missing chips go? Chupacabra. Who left this mess here? It was the chupacabra. That's what our family blamed the chupacabra.
So at the end of this spooky season, apparently just blame the chupacabra for shit happening. So I told you would fall off the bed.
I did not fall.
So
I gracefully exited the bed.
So thank you for listening. I'm sorry this episode's really short, but like I said, I'm moving across the country again because I'm insane. And next week will be a normal episode with normal things, I promise. And stay safe. I hope you all had a great Halloween. Virginia, you want to say bye?
Bye. I was with Courtney on this night, November 1st, in Iowa.
I'm not going to murder you.
Hey, everybody. My name's Lisa.
And my name is Matt.
And we are the hosts of Eye for an Eye podcast.
And we are trying to determine whether or not the punishment fits the crime.
Was an eye for an eye met? Does the punishment make sense? Was it too lenient, too harsh, too rough, not enough? We're not sure, but we're about to figure it out.
And do you think that we have the opportunity to determine now what happened after the fact?
Take a listen to our podcast, Eye for Eye podcast.
We'd love to hear from you.
Hey guys, do you like mysteries and urban legends?
Do you like creepy stories and unsolved true crime?
Then join us every Tuesday and Saturday at Mysteries and Urban Legends and get to the bottom of weird urban legends and spooky mysteries.
Thank you for listening to The Cult of Domesticity. We are available on all podcatchers. On social media, we're on Facebook and Twitter at The Domestic Podcast and Instagram at The Cult of Domesticity. If you have a topic request, information, or want to send us a recipe, please email us at thedomesticpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe and share with all your friends. Remember to stay domestic and cult-free.